Hey guys, so in this video we're gonna talk a little bit about user expectations and what to kind of do when you're providing a service to, like, rather a philosophy that I have kind of tried to bring to my company, and hopefully it will mean something to you and you can draw some type of meaningful conclusion from it. And basically, the other day we were talking about, like, one of our support staff came and talked to the development team, and this guy is absolutely amazing. He's a peach. Like, he must be a saint, because, like, working in the support and being that nice to everybody all the time when people are, upset about things, that must take some real character. Anywho, he comes to us and he talks to us a little bit about different error cases that we have at my company for basically identifying subscriptions. And so he tells us that the most common reason that people are upset is that we have falsely identified or created a false positive. And basically a false positive is that you are telling the user that you have in our case it's a subscription. We are telling the user that they have a subscription that they don't have. Now, when we're designing, like when we're working and like basically we're solving this extremely tricky problem of identifying different subscriptions, I have been the guy who's been saying, like, continuously, that it's, in my opinion, if you're attempting to solve a problem for a user, it's better for you to be conservative. Like, it's better for you to get what you can right and not take any risks when it comes to providing value to the user. In other words, if we have a extremely high security, like that the algorithm has produced an interval, if we have a transaction history from a user where we basically have a really high confidence that this is a subscription event and that we can identify it, then we should present that to the user. But we should at no point, and I think this goes true for most applications, we should not guess. Because when we start guessing, or when we lose like a really high level of accuracy, also we're going to be in this situation where we're telling the user basically false. We're lying to the user. We're giving them false information. And see, that's an issue, because if you think about it, it's actually not much of an issue that you don't find something. If you fail at figuring out basically what you're supposed to be figuring out for the user's sake, that's more okay. If you fail, the users are more forgiving. I mean, it's not good. You should absolutely, in an ideal situation, you should, succeed at everything you're doing, but you can't. So if you have to pick between guessing and failing, it's better to fail. And for us, this kind of meant that if we can't identify a subscription to our user, yes, they will be upset and they're going to call in. And that's exactly what my support guy was telling me. Like, he was kind of almost acknowledging the way that I have had, the way that I was trying to push the idea I was trying to push, because he said that, when I'm talking to the users and they're upset that something goes wrong, it's much easier for me as the support person to tell the users that, yeah, sorry, like, we couldn't identify your subscription because you don't have enough transaction data for us to identify that this is in fact a subscription. And that's a much easier conversation for him to have, and it's also easier for him to manage it at the support level, because he said, but the problem, if we have the wrong information, then I have to fix that. That's much more tricky. Like, people lose faith, like they don't dare trust the system because the system got something wrong. Now they have to go, and you lose the trust, because now the user has to go and double check, and maybe they even just uninstall the application. Now they have to check, are you really giving me the information that I need? And as I was saying, I think that the strongest argument he made was that if you have the wrong thing, then you have to modify the issue. Like, you have to modify and fix things. But if you didn't find it, in our scenario, there's nothing more to be done, really. Like, you don't have to do so much more work. You just have to either wait and see if there's more transaction information, or simply say to the user that, yeah, this is a common issue that we are aware of, and that we're on the case. We're gonna fix it. So we're gonna take if that's okay, we're gonna take your case here and submit it to the development team, and they will have a look at it, because that's the way that we fix it. That's the way we want to fix things, right? And so I think that this is something that, if in the IT world, probably Google does better than anyone. I find myself all the time doing that. I trust Google's services. The quality of their services is so high, and because they always get everything right. They may fail sometimes. Sometimes I don't get, sometimes things don't work, and that's okay. You can expect that. I'm okay that some things don't always work exactly as the way they should be working, but they never get things wrong. And that's powerful, because if you get things wrong, people lose trust in you. But if you never get them wrong, you build trust. They can rely on your service and your company and the people working in that company. And trust, my friend, trust is the most important thing in IT. It's everything. It's the most important thing in business. Everything revolves around trust. So this is my tip to you. If you have to pick between maybe getting the right answer in your when it comes to providing value to your users, don't risk it. Be sure that the thing, even if it's not the perfect thing, be sure that the thing that your users are getting from your application is correct. Make sure that happens. It's better for you to not be able to show, as I said, in our case, subscriptions. It's better for us to not show subscriptions that we're a little bit unsure about, and work until we figure out a better algorithm or a better solution, so we can be sure that this is actually the right information, than it is to guess. That's at least my experience.